Look at the size! Could be my PB, bro.
Yes!
Boom.
It is a good fish, eh? Is pre-baiting a cheat code? Pre-baiting is the cheat code in carp fishing, but when do you pre-bait too much? How should you start pre-baiting on a big lake? All those questions will be answered in this video. This is the area where we fished with 2 cameras. The brighter area is the baited spot, which is approximately 15 feet deep. The Chasing F1 Pro gives us information about the baited area. More on that later. We're fishing single hook bait because the fish will grab everything when they're conditioned to feed on a particular spot. How did we do this? We will tell you after we caught this carp.
Lovely fish. Could not be better.
How much bait is enough bait? I'm gonna bait up an area with some tiger nuts and boilies and see how the carp react. Let's zoom in on the question, how much did we put in daily to create a scenario where the carp are searching for the bait? Enough bait is when the carp stays close to the area where you want them to be, but without too much bait that they don't want to feed anymore. This process is trial and error and it can change per water per day. But in summer and early autumn you can bait much more than in winter. We baited roughly 2.5 kilo tiger nuts and 2.5 kilo boilies every 24 hours. We see that other species feed on the bait as well, such as tench and catfish. For that reason I prefer to use 15, 20 and 24 mil boilies and harder particles like tiger nuts. We used the Chasing F1 Pro to film the bottom to make sure that all the bait was gone. So that was the next step for us to see if the baited area was cleaned by the fish. Alright, so I'm going over the weeds right now and it's pretty clear. But it is really interesting that you can move the camera to the left, right, downwards and upwards, which gives you a better indication of how the bottom looks and if the bait is still there. I'm setting out the camera right now to the bottom because I see a clear bar and there is no bait. Everything is gone, so we're definitely gonna fish here. Is pre-baiting just throwing bait in the water, or are there principles that you should consider? Pre-baiting is more than throwing bait in the water. The conditions change a lot during the season. I fished this lake in June and caught some big carp, but this is the location where I caught most of my fish in June. And this is the same location when I arrived. 4 feet difference in water level. So baiting up on the same spot would obviously make no sense. So we searched for the carp and saw that they were jumping in the deeper parts of the lake. So we started fishing at 15 feet deep, which resulted in another take.
That was intense.
Another intense battle. It was a really clear take. It was quite a struggle because it went straight into the weeds. Luckily Donnie went for a swim and got him out of the weeds, and then I could net it pretty easily. We make long days on the bank to produce our underwater footage, and our equipment consumes a lot of power. So we use the rebelcell batteries to charge all our devices. Those batteries last 3 times longer than a comparable lead acid battery. Match the hatch. Here we baited up more and placed a brighter hook bait to see if the carp would grab it immediately. However, this was not the case. Carp are clearly feeding on the tiger nuts and boilies as we pre-baited, which indicates that it would be better to fish match the hatch in this scenario. Pre-baiting is one of the components of fishing that is not just throwing bait in the water. It can be beneficial if done properly. However, too much bait can backfire, because if the bait doesn't get eaten, it will probably be rotten. A too small amount of bait will not give you the results you want, because the fish are not conditioned enough to feed again on the spot. Pre-baiting is not just throwing bait in the water and waiting till the carp come. First search for the carp and then bait close to them. Use different type of baits like particles because they are cheaper than boilies, and we see that you can get a great feeding response on them. We used 5 kilograms per 24 hours and that was enough to get another take.
I reckon this is not a 10. I think it's a carp. I hope so. Come on.
Oh, it is a couple. There we go.
Yeah, buddies.
Yes. I caught this beautiful comment and it took the hook bait straight away. It was beautiful to see. in the center of the screen, and we baited up quite a lot, but we saw with the underwater drone from chasing that everything was gone. And then we decided to fish on this spot, and we caught this beautiful fish. I am really happy. Bonus. The bonus footage all happened in the last hour of the trip, where we placed 2 cameras, one on the baited spot and the other one on top of the weeds. But let's summarize the video. Is pre-baiting a cheat code? Yes, if done properly. How should you start pre-baiting on a big lake? Find signs of carp and bait in that sector. We found them in deeper water. Besides that, stay flexible because the conditions can change a lot. How much bait is enough bait? We used 5 kilos per day, and this device could see if the bait was gone. The camera of the Chasing F1 Pro can move to the left, right, upwards and downwards. The camera can reach a depth of 20 meters and is easy to use. There's a link in the description for more information. Match the hatch. The whole spot was cleaned before we had a take on the bright waft, so we recommend to use the same type of bait on your hook bait as pre-baited. But you could always add something like fake corn, and that resulted in another take. There we go, Donny boy! He is in on the tiger nut. It is in. Then I picked up the underwater cameras and we had another surprise.
What do we have here, Luke? There we go.
Donny caught it really well in front of the underwater camera. Unfortunately, I picked up both cameras and this one was not in front of the underwater camera, but it picked it up on top of the weeds, the Ronnie boy. That was a really special moment. But let's release this beautiful fish. New PB, 26.2 kilograms. Hell yeah. Happy days. I'm over the moon.